I'm doing good. What's going on with you?
Nothing. Just wanted to let you know your pay is gonna be docked for the 38 minutes you made me wait.
That's fair. I get that.
Okay, cool. As long as we're okay with that, the union has rules. The podcast union of Texas.
Okay.
Thank God
I'm in.
I'm in what's called international waters as far as Texans are concerned.
The union makes us strong.
This work will set you free.
Uh, ooh, ooh,
Ew. I said that
ooh.
at General Assembly once, and like one of my instructors was like, "Do you know what that's from?" And I'm like, "I think it's like a motivational quote, isn't it?" They're like,
No.
"No, it's from the Holocaust." I'm like, "It's just from the." I didn't like just admit that was an idiot. I just immediately questioned I was like, "It's from the Holocaust." It's like just like it was in the pamphlet
Oh.
for the Holocaust. It was. She's like, no, it was on like the gates of Auschwitz. It said work will set you free. And I was like, when she said that, I was like, oh, like silently Wikipediaing it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just thought that sounds. She's like, no, it sounds pretty good, but like that's what Hitler thought. So like, I'm sorry to all the Jewish people in our audience.
It has its own Wikipedia article, James.
So I haven't read every Wikipedia article. All I know is that Room Temperature, the podcast that you are watching, viewers, is not the
I can confidently say this podcast is anti-Nazi.
I can confidently say that as well. We are very open-minded and liberal. Like, you know, we're open-minded. Liberals are starting to piss me off, but not as much as conservatives. I've been listening to a lot of like dirtbag leftist podcasts this
Oh
week.
yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's actually been kind of eye-opening, but also like
Which
hilarious. Just
which
absolute.
ones? Which one?
Cumtown,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I don't know if you've listened to Cumtown.
I haven't listened to it, but I'm aware of it. You on TrueAnon yet?
No,
Okay.
not that deep. I'm only
The
about
next
tip deep. When I get balls deep, I'll let you know. But
Very good.
I tried to listen to what is it, League of Skanks?
Never heard of that one.
That one I like turned off. I was like, you people they're like awful people.
Yeah.
And also 5 minutes into this podcast, we're already bad mouthing other more well established podcasts, which is
We're really
just
a
a very good
podcast
look.
now.
Yeah, it's a very good look.
I,
Cometown is fucking hilarious, but you got to be okay with the dirtbag attitude, and I could see
yeah.
people aren't.
Oh yeah. I really like listening to Chapo Trap House when Bernie was still in it.
Yeah, that one was good.
But it's kind of unlistenable now that they're just like shitting on everyone all the time again.
So that was like Chapo Trap House and Cometown are apparently like really paralleled, and I'm like pretty new listener to both, but like Chapo Trap House is definitely the more. I don't want to say it's wholesome because neither of those podcasts are very wholesome, but they definitely have a more succinct, coherent, um, you know, episodes than Cometown, which is always just like, hey, what's funny? Oh, Andrew Yang is funny. Here's my impression of Andrew Yang. I'm Andrew Yang, and I like gay sex in my butt. Ha! And it's like 5 minutes of laughter. Well, Andrew Yang likes gay sex in my butt. They did a bit about how he was embarrassed after his um, uh, poor performance at one of the debates, and they said he was embarrassed. Like, but when they voiced him like Kermit the Frog. They're like, "I'm Andrew Yang, and I am embarrassed about my performance. I don't know what my life looks like." And I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty funny." I was laughing. I was laughing at it. But like, if you can't get on board with like that level of like gamer, it's almost like gamer humor.
Yeah, I mean, I think video games are definitely tied into the culture.
Yeah. So if you can't get on board with that, I wouldn't recommend it. This podcast is not that podcast because we are two people who definitely cannot pull that off. Like the Room Temperature is a mild mannered podcast with even more mild men. Did you freeze on me? Okay, no good.
No, okay. Um,
Thinking.
so I got my I got my fancy metal credit card that I'm going to put a bunch of car shit on in the mail yesterday.
I have a funny story about metal credit cards.
Yeah.
My sister in law was like work. She told me this when she moved. We're all living under the same roof right now because of the
Mrs.
corona.
Gamboni.
Yeah, Mrs. Gamboni. She drives the Zamboni, but
Yeah.
she told me that she was working retail once and somebody paid with a metal credit card. She's like, "What is this? This is fake." So they don't make these out of metal. She'd never seen one before. She went to her manager like, "I think this guy's like pulling something. Like it's just like fake, right?" And she was like, "Oh, it was such a funny story because like I got told like I had to go back to the customers like I'm so sorry I didn't know I've never seen one before." And my mother was just like, "Oh, I have one of those," and she just like pulled it out of her purse. It's like, "See, look, it's metal. Isn't that weird?" And like your dad has like three of them, and I was like, "That's fucking cool as shit, dude. That's fucking crazy." My dad has the black one, the gold around it.
Amex
Green,
Black Card.
yeah, I don't know what it means. I think it's like you have to have like a really good, you have to have like an incredible credit score to get one of those.
An MX Black Card is a unlimited charge card.
Hmm.
So the
Oh,
cat. So what that means is that he can put literally any amount of money on that card, but he has to pay it back that month.
yeah, but that's Amex, right? It's just like they don't do interest. It's just like you pay back.
That's charge cards. I have an American Express credit card that works like a credit
I
card.
don't know if his black credit card is that credit card or not. I didn't get a good
If
look.
it's an Amex Black Card, it's unlimited charge card. Like that's they have like the regular Amex Green charge card. Um, there's not literally a limit, but there is some number where if it's above that, they'll decline the purchase. But the whole thing about black cards is they never decline purchases. If you want to buy it, it's yours. You just got to pay them.
So okay, I mean, I know that it could just be another. I know it's a black metal credit card. I don't know if it's an Amex black card.
Probably an Amex Black Card.
I know that if I was a credit card company and I'd be like Seiko, where it's like, you want a Rolex, but you only have $500 to blow on a watch. So we made a watch that looks exactly like the Rolex you want. Bless you. I would just make a credit card that was black and made of metal, and it would have like a 18% interest rate, but it's black and it's made of metal because fuck it. So I don't know. I don't know if he has that or not, but like my mom had the platinum one. I had an Amex card in college. Boy, that was fucked up. That was fucking ridiculous. That was what I got for emergencies when I went to college. My dad was cool. I need to turn those notifications off. um my dad was like, here, everybody takes Amex in case something happens, if you need a tow truck, if you need like emergency gas or something. Yeah, that kind of looks like it. Picture of the black card. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll go through his wallet later.
Yeah, go rummage through his things. I bet he'll like
Like,
that.
hey dad, can I see your wallet? I gotta run some errands. Um but yeah, I fucking maxed out that fucking Amex card. It had a very low limit. I think I put like 5 grand on it in 2 years, and my dad was like, "Hey, um, take that Amex card out of your wallet and cut it up because I just canceled it." I was like, "What? What? Why?" And he was like, "Do you know how much money you put on there?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe like $1,000 at most." I mean, I did buy some Christmas presents with that, which is a lie. And he was like, "You put like $5,000 on that Amex card in 2 years," and I was like, "Holy fuck, I'm sorry." He's like, "Don't apologize, just stop using it." He's like, "You don't have you don't have a job. Like you've been charging this shit, and I've been paying for it, and I finally looked at your balance. I should have looked a long time ago." He's like, "It's my fault. It's your fault." Anyway, I canceled your fucking card, so now you don't have an emergency blanket. So don't fucking run out of gas. And that was like, I think 3 months before I graduated.
Well, shit.
When I moved back, I like, oh yeah, I opened my own credit card. That's right. I maxed that out. That was from booze and partying.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a podcast about cars. I'm glad we're getting to do this finally. I do have a little bit of a surprise for you. That is going to make doing this podcast and planning this podcast and planning our community a lot better. Um, what do we got here? There's your fancy Chase Sapphire Preferred Metal credit card.
Yeah.
Ooh, my
Oh,
brother just texted me. What did he text me?
while you're looking at that, speaking of car stuff, I am officially permanently banned from the 10th Gen Civic Forum and have deleted my account.
What? Why?
Because this guy posted in all caps with ellipses asking what intakes fit a base model 2-liter Civic, and I posted, it's a it's crazy that no one's literally ever asked this question before, and there's not a search function. And I'm glad you're typing all caps, and you didn't just use one comma. You brought along his two friends at the end of every sentence.
Yeah,
Just
that'll get
making,
you banned.
yeah, I'm just making fun of the way he posted. No
We don't
regrets.
we don't we don't accept that kind of behavior here at the 10th Gen Honda Civic forums. We have a very strict guideline for behavior
Yeah,
and content here at the 10th Gen Honda Civic fan forums.
I
Um,
mean, good for them. They definitely don't want people like me around there, but
my whole fist can fit in my exhaust. 10th Gen Honda Civic fan forums. Give us a
so
kiss.
that's my car news this week.
That's sad, but hey, you know what you're not banned from? The official room temperature Discord, which I have started.
Oh shit.
And you are, I guess you're an admin, but you're also one of two members.
I'm not invited.
I haven't invited you yet. I
Oh,
wanted to wait
okay.
until I got the avatar up. But here, I'll share my screen real quick. Oh, I figured out how to make my computer run really well during these Zoom recordings. It's called Don't Use the um, Oopsie. It's called Don't Use a Second Monitor.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so here we got. We're gonna have to blur some of this out, obviously, because we'll
We'll
see
fix
what
it in
I'm
post. Yeah.
fix it in post. We'll see everything that I'm fucking subscribed to, all my top secret channels. The like comedy forum that a coworker started 3 years ago and has made 3 posts on. Room temperature. Welcome to room temperature. Cars and memes. I misspelled memes. We gotta fix that in post. It's got the Corolla. It's got the logo. I didn't know how to make a fancy wallpaper or anything, but I was thinking it's got these channels: general cars and memes. I don't know what other channels we need, but we can add them, and then we've got a voice channel. I
We got
looked into
memes.
what?
We got memes.
We got memes. Memes sounds like members. So is it like dick pics? Sure, hope not. But anyway, that's where we're at now. There's not really much to show you, but I was just wondering if you had any suggestions. And that's one thing I wanted to start off this podcast with. What suggestions do we have to make From Temperature the greatest automotive podcast in the history of automotive podcasts? We're two men. We're enthusiasts. We're enthusiastic about motors, cars, wheels, all the things that come with it. Obviously fame, fortune. If you're a
Yeah,
car guy, you're naturally going to make more money than your average schmuck who works at CVS and bags
that's
pudding.
right. And you're just gonna be more attractive.
Yes, I mean it's a scientific fact that if you have a nice car, women will knock on your door and tell you that they're in love with you. Some and men. I mean, we're
Yeah,
not going to.
I
We're
can
not
speak
gonna.
from experience that if you buy a nice car like an S2000, you'll get so many men who are really interested in it.
I once owned a Mustang, so I
Yeah,
can back this claim up.
yeah,
I want to say that though, like on a serious note, when I owned my Mustang, I was my second Mustang, which was much nicer than the first Mustang. I had a 13 Mustang when I was dating this woman, and I had a 16 Mustang when I had my own job. And I will say both times, the only people that came up to me or even like, did a double take to look at that car were like children in Transformers t-shirts
hmm
or fully grown male adults.
hmm
Although I will say the Mustang was one of the only cars that women in my life didn't really say anything negative about. That and the Audi, they both really liked. I had an A4, an 18 A4, I had a 16 Mustang GT, and most the responses from females were just like, "Yeah, I like this car." There was always like, if I got in a car with a girl and like I did like, I don't know, hood rat shit where it's
yeah.
just like floor it and stuff. And if they really liked it, I knew never to call that woman again because I will end up in jail. Like that, you stay away from that woman.
Like Nicole and I are a long-term item because she hates it when I do hood rat shit in the Civic. There's
Mhm.
nothing she hates more.
God wants you to date a girl that doesn't like hood rat shit in your Civic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like I can only do that. I can only do that bullshit when I'm by myself.
Yeah, and that's what it's supposed to be like. If you date a girl that wants you to do her, there's gonna come a time where like you're gonna go to a restaurant and you're gonna have a glass of red wine with your spaghetti. And then when you get in your Honda Civic, she's like, let's do hood rat shit and buy cigarettes. And you're gonna be like, no, I have work in the morning. Next thing you know, you're gonna be doing like 115 on 35 North near Round Rock, Texas. See the Applebee's fly by like one of those light streams in 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's just it's the next thing you
It's
know,
a
it's blue and red lights out the back of you.
it's a
She's like,
problem though. It's a problem though because it's got so much more power than a Hyundai Elantra that when you know you got to be in the right lane, but the left lane is open, you can get in the left lane and you will pass that Hyundai Elantra comfortably, and you will look like a huge asshole doing it. But
it's hard not to look like. I think like no matter what you do in a Mustang, you either look like a boomer or you look like a man child.
yeah,
You kind of look like a dude bro, but not as big as a dude bro asshole as you do in like a Challenger. I would still buy a Challenger, but like I could comfortably live with how much of a prick, not a prick, just like a dude bro jockey, kind of like sweaty, like fights with his girlfriend at a restaurant or in parking lot, kind of asshole, backwards hat wearing, beer gut having, like motherfucker you look like when you drive like a Challenger, but not in like a scary way. If it was a scary way, you'd have a Ford Raptor. But if it's like just sort of like if it's the fights he picks with his girlfriend is fights that he always loses, it's like a Dodge Challenger. Or the other guy that drives that car is drug dealer. And then the only wholesome version of a Dodge Challenger driver is boomer, which is like guy who remembers these cars when they were new and can afford the just astronomical insurance and gas charge. I love the way boomers drive. They're just the best. They do it correctly. They do cars right. There's a guy in my parents' neighborhood. It's right down the fucking street. Whenever I take down out the trash or see or get the mail on a Saturday for my dad because his knees don't work so good,
yeah,
um, he gets mad when I get the mail. It's this one time he gets to leave the house today. Um, there's this guy who has a first gen Bronco, like the '60s Bronco.
yeah.
You can tell it's like this older dude. He bought it and like fixed up, like retro modded kind of. My dad's like, "Oh, you like that car?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool. It's first gen Bronco." He's like, "That guy takes it out of his driveway. He drives down the cul-de-sac. He waves at everybody. He goes back in his driveway. He does that about once a week. It's the only time he leaves his fucking house." Like, God bless him because I can buy that Bronco and tear it to pieces one day because that dude just took all the depreciation out of it. Thank you, boomers, for driving correctly. But yeah, Mustangs attracted all the children. They didn't attract any women. The only car I've ever had that has attracted women is my Golf, representing the Golf with this hearing aid beige Mach 1. It's not even a GTI, this thing. It's just a lowered normal Golf. This is my car. Hood
Um,
noise.
women kind of liked the Fiesta, especially with the blue wheels. Um, they thought it was a cute toy car. Uh, and then my ex-girlfriend really liked my green Civic hatchback and really liked the S2000.
Never met a woman that didn't like my Golf. Well, I did meet one woman that didn't like my Golf, and she had a Challenger. And she was just like, it's cool. It's just not very like exciting. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. The Golf is never gonna. I mean, even GTIs aren't that exciting. They're cool, but they're not that
Yeah,
exciting. They're just GTI is a compromise car. It's like I've got kids, but I like
yeah.
driving.
My coworker who drove me to go buy my Type R, uh, he drove me there in his tuned Golf R. And I remember thinking when he would do highway polls, because he had the DSG, I was like, yeah, we're going fast, but this is just so clinical.
Well, it's German.
Yeah. No, I know. It
I
just,
think like the Japanese cars are a little clinical in my mind too, but they're not German clinical. They're not a middle ground. They lean clinical to me.
yeah.
Every Japanese car I've ever driven.
The Type R definitely is not because it needs better tires, but I'm doing my best to burn through the tires that are on it.
Okay. Well, that's. I mean, at least you're getting your. You're not one of those people that buys a brand new fucking car and then like takes the tires and the wheels off and just stacks them in the garage and then goes and gets new rims and the BBS 3-piece rims and then like puts new rubber on it and it's just like okay, perfect.
Oh God, who would do that? Who would
Fuck boys, influencers,
who would
influencers,
who would buy
influencers
a car?
who
Who
use
would buy a
Patreon.
car and then buy four new sets of wheels with four new tires in under 1,000 miles?
Influencers, a lot of whom drive that Civic Type R, because
Who?
that's who I think of when I think of the Honda Civic Type R. I think of a 22 to 26-year-old person who has all of the like they graduated college, they got a great job, or they're a hit on YouTube or Instagram. They're influencers. They have $100,000 a year from brand deals.
Yeah, it would
They
be it would be really fucking stupid to buy four new tires and wheels like a week after you bought a car.
Yeah, but they don't know any fucking better. They're 22 years old. They're like, yeah, I mean, I have all this extra money because I didn't buy a Lamborghini. I didn't buy a Lamborghini with 100,000 miles. I bought a brand new Civic Type R, and the payment's the same. Like, yeah, it is because you bought a $46,000 Honda Civic versus a $46,000 Lamborghini. Your insurance is going to be a little bit better, and you've got all this extra money coming in every month from Patreon and brand deals, so you can just pay. Let's see, what's a new set of tires going to run you? $2,000, or a new set of wheels. Like if you bought BBS 3-piece like wheels, I'm thinking $3,600 max. And then you buy rubber, like thin racing rubber, like flashy ass rubber for that car, and you stick it on there. It looks like it's been lowered, so you don't have to go through the trouble of getting a new suspension set up. Which, oh my god, who would fuck with the suspension of a Type R? You would have to take it to some sort of like samurai who's been living on a mountain modifying Honda since EKG hatches were a thing.
I just texted you. That is from the tire rack order that I made a few days after buying my car.
Paint, but paint.
No,
19 by 8 multi-gate racing MR294 black paint. Oh, it's painted black.
I bought wheels and tires a few days after buying my car, less than 1,000 miles into owning it.
Your Honda Civic Type R?
Yes,
I
these are for the
don't
type.
remember that.
Yes,
I remember you bought new rubber. I didn't remember you buying
you
wheels.
you have never seen my car with the stock wheels. I don't think.
Dude, that's almost $2,000. God. Why did you do that? I mean, other than the stock rubber and the stock wheels are shit.
The stock wheels are shit. Like, I mean, Car and Driver destroyed one of their wheels before the first update.
Our driver drove that thing on a private track and then wrote an article about
Yeah,
it.
and
You drive that car to the grocery store.
the stock wheels are 20 inches with 30 profile tires. They are very fragile.
That is boomer methodology there. Like, it doesn't work on the racetrack, it'll never work on the freeway.
They're not. They're just like they break, and like a tire and wheel package was a new wheel and tire is a new wheel from Honda is like $1,800, and then a tire and wheel package was like $1,000. So for the price of like having wheels I didn't want, I could just get a whole new set of wheels that were an inch smaller and less likely to break and much cheaper. Like that guy Will,
Yeah,
he has a second set of tires and wheels. He drives around. The stock ones sit in the garage. Yusuf,
yeah.
he had a second set of wheels because the stock one sat in the garage. This is just a thing. Nobody drives their Type R's on the stock wheels.
I didn't know Yusef had a Type R.
He had one at one point. He sold it for a down payment on his house.
Oh, good for him. Didn't he like sell that and end up driving like a mid-trim Honda Civic hatchback?
No, that's his girlfriend's car.
Yeah, but it has remote start.
Yeah, it's his girlfriend's car.
I think you made the right move because I think the Honda Civic hatchback. I think the Honda Civic in general, if you get the right engine, it's a pretty great car.
The hatchback only comes with the 1.5, so the hatchbacks are all great cars.
Okay, the hatchbacks are all great cars. That's right. They make that in a sedan, don't they? I don't even think of the sedan. I just think of and I know they made the coupe, but like the coupe
Coupe
was
is
only
dead.
the SI, right? Did they make a coupe of just normal
Yeah,
Civic?
yeah.
Oh
All the
God,
trims. You can get a. So for the last year, 2019, you can only get a manual coupe and SI.
good. I mean,
All the
I don't understand why anyone. So
I see lots of base model coupes, and I don't get it. As someone whose first car was an automatic mid-trim coupe, like there's no reason to get a coupe versus a sedan.
I love coupes, but I'm a single 30-year-old, so like, I mean, a
I don't
coupe is
think
for
the
me.
I don't think the tenth I don't think the Civic coupes look very good. I think I have a special place in my heart for the sixth gen coupes. I think the seventh gen coupes look pretty good. I think
I've never thought they look good.
the fifth gen coupes look pretty good. I think the eighth and ninth and tenth gen coupes look really bad.
I've never thought those kind of coupes, those compact coupes. There are a couple that have a soft spot in me brain.
The RSX.
Yeah, but that's a performance vehicle.
No, it's a Civic.
It's an Acura,
It's a Civic.
but it's an Acura in the States. So you can't get it with cloth seats. You can only get it with like an auto with leather seats and like a nice radio and a sunroof. It's a
No,
luxury coupe.
no, no. You can
You
get
can
one without a sunroof.
well, can you get one without leather seats? Can you get one with you can get one with a manual. That
You
was
can get.
back when like
I think the base model RSX had cloth seats.
okay. I know Mercedes, my first car. Do you know what my first car looked like? It's
Vaguely.
a C230 sports coupe compressor.
Why don't you send me a link?
Let's go ahead and just share the screen now.
Yeah,
Let's see what we got here.
get me in there.
Let's exit out of this.
Why am I not invited to that Discord yet?
Because I didn't.
There's
I
some
don't
bad.
know. I
There's
wanted
bad
to invite.
advice.
I'll invite you after this. I'll invite you on camera.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. So 2003 Mercedes
Chevy Silverado.
C230. Yeah.
That was the first result. I like how the first suggestion is problems.
Oh, it's had so many problems. This was not a great car, but it had the same engine as the first gen SLK. It had a supercharged four cylinder. This is my boy.
That looks pretty. Oh, I like these.
This is my first car. Mine was black. It had leather and a sunroof, but the sunroof broke, so it wouldn't open.
I've always liked these. Well, that sounds better than breaking open.
Yeah, it was cheap as fuck. Um, it had 189 horsepower, but the sticker said it had 220. So it was rear wheel drive. That was the craziest thing. You could buy a Mercedes Benz rear wheel drive hatchback. This is exactly what mine looked like. This might even be mine. I looked
This
up
is
when I was working in an auto dealership, I looked up the VIN number to my first car because I worked for the car dealership I bought it from.
the vehicle identification number.
Yes, the vehicle identification number. And it told me that my car, after I traded it in, it was sold at auction and then it was sold again 2 years later to an investor in Iran. So that car got put on a boat and shipped to Afghanistan.
My first car hasn't been registered since 2014, so it's almost certainly crushed. My Mustang has been crushed.
I looked these up for you.
Yeah,
Oh God, I remember this so well. This was this this was the friggin' like center console in this car.
that looks horrible.
Yeah, because the European versions came with a screen, but they didn't sell that in the US to keep the costs down. And I had this crappy silver like print here. God, I have so many memories of this car. I hated this gauge cluster too. It had this ugly orange and black. Oh, now it actually
Looks
looks
fine.
pretty good. It's aged
Yeah,
fine. I just
looks
didn't
pretty
want.
good.
I don't know. There were so many things wrong. Had these big ass doors. I didn't have the upgraded sound system. It did though. This screen, this square right here. So if you press the button where the tape, see the button that says tape?
Yeah.
You press tape, This screen folds down and there's a tape deck behind it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's Mercedes. Every Mercedes did that in the early 2000s. The CD changer is in the glove compartment. It's in here. Of course, it only had manual seats for the passenger because of cost cutting. I remember once I was driving this fucking thing and I hit a speed bump and the fucking uh, um, rearview mirror fell off.
This sounds like a quality product.
Oh, it was terrible. And Mercedes never sold any of them. They were on the market for 3 years and then they were discontinued in the US. No one bought them. They were horrible. And that's why we got such a good deal. All these buttons are blank, even on the top trim in the US. You have a tow alarm right here. You have a window locking button. Then you have your traction control off, and everything else is just blank in the United States market.
Why don't you run an ad blocker?
I don't know. I'm lazy.
Let's do one right now. Let's all one right now.
No, fuck that. I'll do that off camera. Look how
No, you won't.
fat that. Look how much negative space there is
This
right
is
there.
this looks exactly like a 318 Ti.
Yes, it is the competitor for the 318 Ti.
Did these come in manual with limited slips?
Yes.
Oh,
And that was the sedan version that I really would rather have had, but it was $8,000 more.
that looks like a C class.
It is a C class.
Oh,
Also, in big auto news, RIP C class. Mercedes Benz has discontinued the C class in the United States.
the C class coupe or C class?
The C class.
Oh shit.
Sedan and coupe will no longer be sold in the US.
Oh shit.
The US specs C class. They make the C class in Europe, which is the same car. It's not like a Volkswagen Passat situation. This is how I understand it. You know how Volkswagen makes a Passat in
Yeah.
Tennessee,
Right.
and there's a Passat in Europe that's a completely different car.
Right.
Well, Mercedes makes a C class in the US, and they've said, look, we don't sell sedans anymore. The C class is going to be replaced by the GLA, which is the cheapest piece of shit we've ever fucking made as a company.
Oh, they're awful. They're miserable, awful cars.
Well, apparently the next generation GLA is a big step up, but it's going to take it's going to be like buying a C class in 2008.
I I don't get it. Like I don't understand
Introductory
this.
luxury car. You could.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean like why like why not why isn't that just the C class? Like why does it have to be a new thing?
Because that's wholesome. That's on the stream. That's fucking there.
What?
You didn't see that. My mom texted me, "Good night, I love you," and it appeared on the recording.
I love it.
I text her back because I'm not a bad son. I gotta take Daisy to the vet tomorrow. It's time for a checkup. Gotta get up at 8. Good thing I'm drinking beer. This beer, come on. This beer. This beer is called, what is this fucking called? Standard Farmhouse Ale from Oklahoma. It is a 6% Farmhouse Pale Ale. But I think you're right. I don't really get why they need, for so many years, they've had 2 C classes. They've had the CLA, then they've had the C class. And the C class used to be the cheap Benz. It's like the 3 Series used to be the cheap Beamer. It's not anymore. The W204 chassis, which was the Mercedes C class I had, the second one, that was supposed to go up against the 3 Series and be the first Mercedes that can, be as sporty as a BMW. And it never worked.
Yeah.
The generation that came after that, which is subsequently going to be the last generation of C class in the US, just went back. We're like, we didn't really do the BMW thing like we thought we were going to do. We're just going to go back to being a luxury car. And it was okay. It wasn't that great. I mean, I drove newer C classes and I was like, this just doesn't really like do anything for me. It's just like the new 3 Series. Like, I just don't care. I mean, like, I kind of like I don't like these compact luxury sports sedans. It's like when I think luxury, I want something like big, like fancy, not something that's like trying to be fancy, not an introductory level something. Like if I was going to buy a BMW, I'd at least get a 5 Series or 4 Series. Also, I'd never buy a BMW.
Yeah, I like older BMWs, but new ones don't do anything for me.
I mean, like how old?
I,
The E90 and back is like great.
Yeah, I think that's it. I not enough to actually buy one because I don't understand anything about them.
We're not
And
sadists.
right,
Like, come on, we're not gonna do that.
but I like whenever I've been in one or been near one, I thought, man, this is a really nice car. Like if I, 5 years from now, if it if I was in the position I'm in my life in a few years, and like an E93 was like a brand new car on the market, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll lease one of these.
Okay. Well, I mean, if I was in a position to lease a car, I would absolutely lease a luxury car because knowing what I know, I mean, like just from working in dealerships, it's just like I would never finance a luxury car. Like
No,
even if I was like a billionaire, I would either pay straight cash for it up front or I would lease it. And leasing is much better of an option because you don't have to take the hit in depreciation. People are always like, "Oh, you don't get anything when you trade it in." I'm like, "You don't get anything when you trade it in if you finance it. Trust
yeah,
me. Like, just lease it."
yeah, like and electric, like if it just doesn't make sense to finance it unless you want it forever. Like if they came out and said, we're making the RS6, we're making the AMG wagon, but this is going to be the very last one, so get one.
I think
Then
you better get one because I'm pretty sure they're about to discontinue if they haven't already the AMG wagon for the states. I'm pretty sure
yeah,
Mercedes just killed the S Coupe.
I'm not getting one. I want a house. I'm not getting a fucking AMG wagon.
Well,
Once I have a house, then we can talk about getting an
you
AMG
have an
wagon.
SUV. You have a hatchback, an SUV, and a sports car. You
Yeah,
don't need any. You don't need
no, God
another
no.
daily driver.
Oh no, I don't. But this ecosystem is the perfect thing to lease an AMG wagon under because I never like it just becomes a grocery and road trip car.
This is true. I mean, like, this is the perfect environment to get into a new vehicle. And everybody I know is asking me, like, should I buy a new car right now? And the answer is yes. I mean, like, if you have the means and you need a vehicle, do it now. But it's like I was telling my brother who has a paid off car and a leased car his wife drives. He was like, should I, like, I really want a Tacoma. And I'm like, if you want a payment, get it. But nothing's going to be better than not having a payment and being able to drive a car. Like,
The
no,
Cherokee, the Cherokee is such a piece of
it is a
shit.
piece of shit. He doesn't care. I mean, he lives his life like I love my brother, but like, oh my god, you go into his office and it's like there's yesterday's coffee in a Yeti that he's not going to wash. So it's like, yeah, you have a Cherokee with like pieces of you have a piece of shit Cherokee, and it's not that big of a piece of shit, honestly, for a 6-year-old Cherokee. But it will be. Oh, it will be. There's like one thing I can't stand about that car, and it's like if you sit in the back seat, the back plastic on the driver's seat is like coming off. And he's like had it. He's taking it to the dealer. He's taken it to the dealership like 3 times. Like he stopped caring about it when COVID hit, but they've like reattached it and they had to put new brackets on it, and it was all under warranty. It's all free because he has an extended warranty on that car, and it's like, yeah, blah blah blah, and then like it just comes off in 3 weeks again. And then like one time they found out he put. I mean, I've done this before when I was selling cars, but like dealerships, like salespeople just put double-sided tape on that shit. It's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
fixed. We took it in the back, it's fixed.
yeah,
We just put double-sided shit, and that's guess what they put on it at the factory. What do you think Chrysler puts on it? It's double-sided tape.
yep.
It was made with double-sided tape. Like, sorry.
Fuzz tape and double-sided tape. That
Yep.
fixes everything.
Yeah. He had like he got rear-ended, and then the people that fixed it had the rear bumper installed, but there's two clips. There's two big clips. They look like they're about the size of a stapler. They're equidistant from each other on the bumper. They were supposed to be bolted into the chassis, and they installed the bumper and they just left those clips dangling. My brother picked it up and was like, "That's fine. I mean, we'll just fix it when we get home. Just pop them back in." He got home and realized 6 screws were missing. I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" That's why you look at shit before you take it home. The
That's
whole
why you.
car is like a learning experience for him. It's fine. It's got 36,000 miles on it. I mean, like he's a 6-year-old car with normal mileage on it. When a consumer of a normal car trades that vehicle in, you should absolutely be taking that car to a dealership and being like, "Okay, I'm ready." And he has a job. I mean, like he's a PhD, he's a college student, and he's working. So I get it. I mean, like he probably
The
doesn't really
problem
want
is
a car
though
payment
he
right now.
can't he can't get a Tacoma. Like you
He can
can't
he
buy
can get a
no,
Tacoma.
you can't buy a Tacoma for money right now.
What he can finance a Tacoma.
I know. I'm saying he can like. I don't question his ability to afford one. I'm saying I question his ability to get a Toyota dealer who says we have a Tacoma we can sell you.
Oh
Apparently
no,
they
yeah, he was like, I found one. And I'm like, where is it? And he's like, oh, it's in Omaha. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'd have to go to Omaha to get it. I'm like, what Tacoma are you looking for? He's like, well, I really want the TRD package. I'm like, the TRD Pro? He's like, no, not the one with the snorkel. Like the one with the, it's got a lift on it, but it's a TRD package, but it's not the TRD Pro.
Yeah, dude. I mean, have you
Like
been
you're
paying
looking at a
attention?
$46,000 truck. Like, and he's like, well, how much is my Jeep worth? And I'm like, there's no way that thing is worth more than $12,000.
No,
Like none. Like I was like, if you sell it to a Jeep dealership, you will get 12 grand. I'm like, you should maybe consider a
maybe.
Wrangler if your granola eating ass wants to fucking hike one of those motherfuckers up a mountain.
Yeah, get a Gladiator. Go live out your fantasies.
Ah, gladiators are shit. I mean, come on. I saw this guy. I went for a drive on Labor Day, and I saw this guy towing like a full size trailer with his Gladiator, and that Gladiator looked like it was about to shit its pants.
No, listen. I didn't say they were good. I said
He
he
doesn't want
wants it
one.
to. Okay.
I talked to him. I was like, you could get the Wrangler. He's like, yeah. He's like, I just don't think it's like a good enough car. The safety scores are really bad. I'm like, if that bothers you, do not buy the Wrangler because the people who buy Jeep Wranglers, and this is maybe a hot take for some people, but people who buy Jeep Wranglers huff paint.
Yeah.
Like they're huffing fumes. Like they're fucking stupid. Like, why do you buy these fucking lifestyle accessory cars? It's like those G-Shock watches. It's like that, but a car. They're like really functional. Like you can drop them out of a helicopter and it'll still tell you what time it is. But like,
Who
when are
cares?
you gonna drop something out of a? When are you gonna jump out of a helicopter? When are you gonna take your Rubicon to Moab? Your
Yeah,
Rubicon is gonna
like
be going up and down 35.
that rental Jeep we drove on the road to Hana and like the road past Hana where it gets super fucked up. Like that's where a Jeep belongs, and I'm glad I let Nicole drive it because I was terrified. Um, and I think it really skewed her perception of being extremely pro Jeep because she drove a Jeep in its natural habitat on a fucked up awful road
They're
on a third
sexy.
world.
I mean, you're right. I mean, that's where it belongs. And they're sexy cars. I mean, like you see somebody roll up in one of those Wranglers and they get out of the car and they look relatively put together. And I mean, they don't have a t-shirt on that's representing some sort of restaurant chain and a backwards hat that's representing a racist baseball team.
Yeah.
They cut out and then they've got a polo shirt on and like no hat and they've combed their fucking hair for once. You think, okay, that guy probably actually uses his fucking car on the weekends. He just likes that look and lifestyle. Maybe he collects World War II books. He probably knew more about Work Will Set You Free than I did. And like that's cool. But like Tacoma guy is always cooler. He's not sexier, but he's always cooler. Like if I see Tacoma guy and versus Wrangler guy, I'm always gonna go have a conversation with Tacoma guy. Because that guy bought that truck because he had a need for it. That's the one truck on the market right now that like people buy because they want a Tacoma. They don't buy it because they want to be big man, big truck. Because you're not big man, big truck in a Tacoma. You're a guy who needs truck. You're a guy who had to get a truck and looked up and found the most reliable and cost efficient truck on the market. And it's the Tacoma or Tundra. Tundra kind of counts. Tundra's boomer Tacoma. That's what that is. It's like boomer Tacoma. It's just like, Pokemon
Oh,
evolutions.
oh no. Oh
What?
no.
What is it?
So I went to the dentist on Tuesday, and the dentist told me that I can no longer put off getting implants. It is time. The time has come. I have to do it this year. So
What? Where do you need
um,
implants on? Your teeth are fine.
for my missing teeth,
You have
and
missing teeth?
I have missing teeth. I was born without permanent teeth right here, and I had the baby teeth pulled when I got braces when I was 13, and so there's just these gaps in my mouth right here. And I went to the oral surgeon yesterday, and he said, well, good news is we can do the implant. Bad news is we should not do the implant because you've waited too long and your molars are falling in. So if we do the implant, you're going to have a space right here between the top of your molar and where it's diving and the implant. And you're going to get a bunch of food caught in there and it's going to rot your molars. And then we're going to have to do surgery around your implant because implants don't move like natural teeth do. So the best thing for you to do is get braces. So I had called this morning and have a consult set up with a place to get braces, and they just sent me a welcome letter, and their fucking slogan is "Live, Laugh, Smile," and now I have to find a new one.
Yeah.
Now I have to find a new one. I cannot go there.
I'm gonna throw up in my Yeti. Brandon, I'm sorry you need surgery. I had no idea you were missing teeth.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, one of the
nobody.
hosts of Come Town is missing teeth. This is like that we're paralleling another podcast
That's
now.
right here.
They're missing their front teeth, but fair enough.
This is. I mean, right here is basically my front tooth. It's very obvious.
I've never seen it. I've never noticed it
Of course
ever.
not. It's right here. How are
Well,
you
then
going to
it's
see
not
that?
your front tooth. Your front tooth is like literally like if this was missing, I think you'd have a fucking clue. You know?
Can you see it?
No.
Where's my
You better
phone?
get that implant. And I'll tell you what, when you're out missing, you have two choices on this podcast. You can either host the podcast when you're on painkillers, or you can let Nicole do it. And I'll
Oh,
talk at Nicole about cars.
I'm definitely gonna host the podcast all fucked up. No
Fuck.
question.
I miss being fucked up so much.
No question. When I got my wisdom teeth pulled, I made the mistake of not taking any of the fucked up painkillers and giving them all back.
That's fucking stupid. Those painkillers, honestly, though, I don't like them.
No,
I remember like I got my wisdom teeth taken out. Apparently, it's relatively early. I got mine taken out when I was like 18.
that is very early.
Yeah, the dentist was like, "Look, he's got to have him out. It's early, but he's got to have him out." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." I'm not scared of surgery at all. I think of it as like maintenance. It's like, I got to do this, so let's get it done. I do not like the recovery though, like ever. And I've never broken a bone before. I've never really had like any major surgery. I've had a couple minor surgeries. I had like eye surgery, sort of. Um, but when we did that wisdom teeth fucking operation shit, I remember I like went to the bathroom to take a shit, and like I was just like sitting on the toilet on painkillers, and I was like, I feel like I'm floating. And then the next thing I knew, I was on the fucking ground. I was like, boom, blacked out. I was like passed out. I just fucking passed out, and I was like, why did this happen? I had to like. I was so dizzy when I woke up. I had to like crawl back to my bed, and my mom heard me like banging around because I'm like 18. I still live at home, like a senior in high school, like crawling around. My mom heard my like elbows banging on the ground from downstairs, and she came up and was like, "What happened?" I was like, "I don't know. I blacked out." Like I woke up on the ground, and I was like, everything's just like spinning, spinning, spinning. It was nuts. It sucked so much, dude. I hate those fucking painkillers. And I had to take them again. Why did I fucking take them again? Something happened to me, and I had to get on hydrocodone again. I can't remember what surgery it was. Maybe it was the eye surgery, but I don't think it was. That wasn't really eye surgery. That was like a laser thing. Um, it happened again. I was like, God, I fucking hate this shit. I'm not gonna fucking do it again. I can't remember what that was. What the fuck was that? It doesn't matter. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then we'll come back, and we're gonna do car news. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay, 2 seconds. We're back in the saddle. We're all back in the saddle. Should have more beer. This is the last three I had. I'm not drinking whiskey. I'll get too fucked up.
Nicole and I are back to not drinking during the week.
Good. I gotta say, my drinking has become extremely limited.
but we didn't say anything about grapes.
Oh, they're grapes. I don't like grapes. I'm not a grape guy. I like bananas. I like blueberries a lot. I made a smoothie for lunch today. It was worth it because we had a shitload of spaghetti for dinner. Tomorrow's 9/11.
Never forgot.
Never forget. Tomorrow's 19 years. I know it's a little morbid to bring up on the podcast. I've told you about my 9/11 tradition, right?
No.
Every year I get a milkshake.
Hell yeah.
I've never missed a year. This year it was like pulling teeth because I'm living at home again because of the core. And it was like, I told my parents, like, look, on Friday I'm going to be getting a milkshake. They're like, okay, why? I'm like, it's 9/11. Like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, look, every year on 9/11 I get a milkshake. Like, oh, why? I'm like, 9/11 was like the worst thing in the world. So to feel better, I get a milkshake. And that kind of just sort of became a tradition. I haven't missed a year since like 2006. So I will be getting a milkshake. Do you guys want a milkshake?
I'll
On
join
9/11?
you.
Yeah, get
Let's
one.
milkshake. Let's milkshake across America.
We're going to milkshakes across America. Yeah, room temperature. Milkshaking across America. Um, I'm getting one from Brahms because Brahms. I know there are some Brahms in Texas, but Brahms is the Oklahoma equivalent of Whataburger.
Oh, so I should get a Whataburger milkshake?
Well, I could go to Whataburger. There's a Whataburger here, but it's like really far away, and I haven't like been too tempted enough to try it. It's like 20 minutes away,
Too much.
and it's like the only Whataburger for like 3 hours. The next one's in Stillwater, which is where OSU is. So the benefit of like Edmond, where I live, is like technically a college town. So there's a lot of like college town type of shit. It's a lot like San Marcos, kind of when you go to the
You can
downtown
never escape
area.
San Marcos.
You can never escape San Marcos. It's fucking disease. It's like herpes. It's like you think you're out, and then it like flares back up. It's really is what it's like. But the benefit of that is like since I'm like a fast food junkie, I'm a fat ass, and like there's everything I could ever want. There's Qdoba, there's Cane's, there's everything except Earth Burger. Earth Burger hasn't quite made its way here, but I don't see why it couldn't. There's trendy restaurants here too, and there's a movie theater that's been open since the '60s, which is actually kind of cool. I mean, it's closed now because all movie theaters are closed. Still can't see Tenet. So fucking want to see Tenet so bad. I can't fucking see Tenet. Christopher Nolan's a dick. He's the Hideki Anno of white people. He won't put his fucking shit. Just like let me see the movie. Like I'll pay $30. We watched Mulan. We watched the live action. We paid $30 to watch Mulan.
That's disgusting. You should be ashamed.
We are because guess what? That movie sucked. How does it have like a 90? Okay, I know how it has a 98% because Disney buys the ratings. Disney ratings shouldn't count because Disney is powerful enough to like buy the ratings. And like my sister-in-law, Gamboni, uh, is so loves Mulan. And I love Mulan. The Disney movie, the animated movie Mulan is one of the great Disney films. Like that was like when I was a kid. There was when you're a kid, when you're like a little boy in America, there are so many things that like that are have girls in it, and you just don't watch because you're a guy and that's got girls in it. But Mulan
Toxic masculinity,
transcended
yeah.
all that shit. Yeah, toxic masculinity. We didn't recognize it as toxic masculinity when we were in like the second grade. That's what it was, and like Mulan transcended that. Like Mulan was badass no matter who you fucking were, and like they made this live action movie, and I have not liked a single one of these live action Disney movies. Mulan looked pretty badass from the trailers. We watched it. I wasn't too excited about it. I was kind of the only one that was like, I'll watch this because the whole family wants to watch it. And it was really rough to do with the two puppies because we had to stop it like every 35 minutes and like take the puppies out. Then Apple TV was giving us fits. So my dad doesn't know how the universal remote works, and I think universal remotes are a disease. But we watched it. And it was fucking
I thought
trash.
I thought
It was
Lion
nothing
King was
like the first fucking movie.
no. I thought Lion King was all right. I thought Jungle Book was really good.
Oh, I remember getting really fucked up and watching Jungle Book and laughing my ass off so much that I had to turn it off. I made it like 20 minutes in. It was just laugh like when the bear talks. It's like here's a bear that's photorealistic, and then its lips move. It's like it's like
Yeah,
I
no.
can't fucking do this. I can't do it. And the snakes and like I can't fucking do. I don't even know what they're saying. It's just like you are the fucking animal king and chosen one, and I'm a snake. Like fuck, I can't do it. The kid that played Mowgli did a pretty good job. Beauty and the Beast was the first one I saw, and it was hilariously bad, but not funny enough. I saw it on a date, and it wasn't really a date. It was kind of a date. I don't want to call it a date because it's a with a person that I'm still friends with who is now getting married to somebody I was also friends with. So it's like double
Oh,
oof, but at the same time, like,
I
kind
mean, it was
of,
what it was.
was what it was. Um, it was like a platonic date because it definitely didn't result in anything. But that fucking movie was just like laughably bad. I'll never get over the ending of Beauty and the Beast where Dan, what's his name, Dan Simmons or Dan Simpson or whatever his name is, the guy from the guy that played the Beast was in Downton Abbey. He did a great job. He does a great job whatever he's in, and uh, the girl was Harry Potter, whatever her name is, Hermione from Harry Potter, and at the end of the movie when he transforms back, spoiler alert, when he transforms back into a human, it literally looks like they both just got out of a fucking like chill tent from at Coachella. Like he's in a loose fitting white shirt and he's just like watch the ending of fucking Beauty and the Beast and it's unbelievable. And she looks at him just like,
Emma Watson looks at him like,
yeah, just like Emma Watson probably sucked his dick. I who wouldn't suck Dan Simmons' dick? I mean, like she's hot, he's hot. It's Beauty and the Beast.
yeah.
And Disney does the whole thing they do with gay people, which is like, we like gay people are real. Like
And money's good.
Disney, Disney basically just recently admitted that gay people are real. Like they thought they were like a myth. And they're like, no, we accept it. The internet has spoken, and gay people exist. They are real people. So we put a background character way over there, and he's gay. He's in the movie, and he's gay. He has 4 whole lines, and this is so important to us. We're Disney. Gay. That's it. It was Josh Gad from SNL had a song and like he did a very good job and then like it alluded to him being homosexual because for 14 seconds he danced with a guy and that's Disney and it was just like you could have just watched the animated fucking movie that was so much better that was made 30 years ago and it was so much better. I just don't know. The only reason Disney makes this trash is because um it makes money. I have a problem with The Lion King just because that was the first movie I ever saw, so I like can't give it a clean judgment. I didn't have too much of an issue with the live action Lion King one. It just really felt like a an update. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, like I do. Oh God, this is a funny story. I may have told you this. My friend's ex girlfriend uh, was an idiot, and she always really liked the most basic like shit. And um, she loved like she was like so excited to see Cats. She was like, "That's gonna be.
Cats.
I just can't wait for Cats."
Cats. I remember we had grand visions of Cats.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I
Um,
haven't seen it yet.
I would love to watch it.
We're
I
gonna get we're gonna get fucked up and watch Cats.
ding. Room temperature watches Cats. Room temperature does Cats. Oh my god.
Room temperature does Cats.
Room temperature does Cats. Oh my god. Absolutely. Fucking absolutely. Oh my god. I love that. That is my specific flavor of trash. I love that shit. So bad it's like it's not so bad it's good. It's so bad that it's like a train wreck. Oh, I can't wait. But anyway, she loves that shit. Like her favorite movie is Les Mis. The only thing we ever bonded over was that we both love the Goo Goo Dolls. I love the Goo Goo Dolls. It's like a '90s band, but she like legitimately thinks Goo Goo Dolls are like the greatest band in the world. And I can sit here and I could talk about their entire catalog because they did like quality songs 25 years ago, and they have a lot of nostalgia built up into their
Oh,
brain.
it's weird.
They're not like
You met
great.
my girlfriend Nicole.
The Goo Goo Dolls are a quality band. I mean, they were a quality band. They were a quality band in 1998.
Nicole's favorite band is right.
But is Nicole's favorite band fucking the Goo Goo Dolls? Uh oh. Did I freeze or did you freeze? I'm just gonna keep talking. So we'll sort this out in post. I promise everyone. I don't know if you can still hear me, Brandon, but
Hello,
hello.
hello.
I don't know what
Nicole
just happened.
Nicole's favorite band is Third Eye Blind.
Okay. Really?
Really,
Wow. Hmm. I don't dislike Third Eye Blind either.
the story you were telling really resonated with me.
Well, anyway, okay. So this woman, before we froze, which we'll just edit out in post,
Yeah,
um, this woman saw The Lion King. This was like the last interaction I really had with her before she broke up with my friend. And she said she loved the original Lion King, but the one thing she didn't like about the remake was that it was too African. And I was like, it takes place in Africa. She's like, yeah, but it's Disney. It's Disney. It's Disney. It's not supposed to be real Africa. It's supposed to be Disney. Like, what does that mean? Like, this is a movie about Africa. She's like, no, it's about lions in a kingdom. She's like, in the Disney movie, it wasn't that African. But I was like, well, yeah, it's 2020 now. We have like way more of a different kind of perspective about race. She's like, I know, but we should really stick to the way it used to be, where it was just like, Disney can do whatever they want. They're Disney. They don't need to like make things be about Africa. Like it's the Lion King. It's about a cartoon lion who avenges his father's death. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry it didn't take place at the Detroit Zoo." I mean, what do you like really complain? And we started to get into a fight, and then you get to a point where you're like, "Okay, I'm fighting with my friend's girlfriend.
right.
No matter what, she could be like, there were too many N words in this
Hmm.
film, and I
Yep.
would still lose the fight."
Yep. Yep.
So I just had to like shut myself down. And then like 2 weeks later, they broke up, and like after a long relationship. And like the first thing out of my mouth when I saw my buddy again, because I went to visit him and like just sort of be like, "Hey, I'm sorry you guys broke up, but she was a racist, right?" Like she was a racist. Like, how dare you? Like we're still friends. Like blah blah. I'm like, okay, we're not there yet, but she was a racist. To this day, I'll text him right now and be like, "Hey, your ex girlfriend's a racist." She was a racist. She was a teacher. She taught at a private school for special
Of course she
needs
did.
kids.
Of course she did.
Well, basic white chicks always teach. That's the only thing they know how to do. They fill their brains. They fill their brains with champagne in college, and they get all dumb.
My mom's a teacher. Fuck.
My mom's a teacher too. Is your mom really a teacher?
Yeah.
My mom was a teacher too. What'd she teach?
First grade.
My mom taught second grade and third grade and fifth grade and English. That's fucking crazy, dude. Our moms are both teachers. We have so much in fucking common. We should start a podcast.
We should start a podcast. We should start a podcast where we talk about car news.
Yes, let's talk about car news after I go get a new beverage. Give me just like 2 seconds. All I have to do this time is run to the fridge.
I like how the green screen can't decide whether that can is in or out.
Yeah, I know, right? I have to put it in front of my fridge. This actually has like an okay label. I'm proud to support Standard Farmhouse Ale, an Oklahoma beer, brewed and canned by Krebs Brewing Company in McAlester, Oklahoma. All right, give me 5 seconds. I'm not going to
Okay.
pause it this time. Couldn't find any beer.
Uh-oh.
There's like about that much. That's more than I thought. Oh, citron. All right, car news. Room temperature. Two dudes with tudes talking units. Okay, I thought of a segment we should really dive into in the future. It's called UTU, and it stands for it's U, like
Oh.
UTU,
Oh. Oh.
and it stands for units talking units. Come on, it's good, right?
Nope.
UTU. We're just two units talking units.
God, I hate it. Continue.
All right. Well, let's talk about the car news this week. Okay, so this week, the biggest car news, we talked a little bit about car news about Mercedes Benz earlier, but something really big happened, I think like just yesterday, that really kind of fucking like blew my mind a little bit. There's going to be, have you heard about this? There's a new Maserati supercar.
I saw this, the MC30.
I think it's MC20.
Who can say?
Yeah. Can we? Let's find out. Let's Google this shit. I don't really care anything about it other than what it looks like, and I haven't researched it enough to be informative to our viewers. But let's go ahead and fucking take a deep dive into apparently my text messages. Um, boom.
That's quite a Maserati.
Mercedes Maserati.
Well, it's not an Enzo, so I don't really care.
CNN. I don't want to talk about any roadshow. Arts Technica. Oh no, let's steal from Car and Driver. Maserati teases compact SUV coming soon to be named
Grecole.
the Greasel. It's the Grackle. The Maserati Grackle.
The Maserati Grackle.
The Grackle.
There's going to be a million of them at Slaughter and Congress.
I love what Matt Farah said, where he said the Maserati Quattroporte is the fucking Ford Taurus of Manhattan. It's like, yeah, if you see like a rich person.
This looks exactly like what the new Z car is supposed to look like.
This looks like this. It looks like a frowny man. It was like,
It looks like a fish.
Cars look like fish. They look like fish all the fucking time. That Jetta from the early 2000s, that looked like a koi fish. MC20. All right. V6, because of course, 621 horsepower. Not terrible. That's less than a Hellcat, though.
I don't care about this.
I don't care about it either, but I think it's funny that we're seeing a company like Maserati just be like, hey, back here, we still exist. Hey, we're still relevant. Remember when we were the same company as Ferrari?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. That's what's so fucking weird about it, is that nobody cares about Maserati, but then they're making this. Are they rebranding themselves? I mean, they're still owned by FCA, which is no longer called FCA. It's called like Cialis or whatever.
Right. I don't care about this. Show me the new Z. That's news people care about.
There's nothing to show you except the concept car. It won't premiere until the 15th.
They released a teaser today showing a manual transmission.
Oh, well, fuck me in the ass. Nissan.
That's for the after show.
It sure is.
Oh God, I hate this. I hate this.
Nissan Z.
I really hope it's not the 400Z. I know it's going to be, but I really hope it isn't.
Why? What's wrong with the 400?
Because it's going to be a 3-liter twin turbo.
Look, somebody knows how to use the brush tool in Photoshop. They figured out what it's going to look like.
You have to turn these ads off. They are killing me.
No, dude, we need sponsors.
Oh my God, please.
We'll figure it out in post. My God.
No, you won't. Fuck you.
Up to 259 miles of range. Let's go ahead and enhance on this.
Oh my God.
I'm going to need to figure out what kind of font this is. What's that asterisk? Asterisk. The asterisk in this app, Brandon, means important info. Come on, that's funny. What's that asterisk? It means it's important.
I have ad blockers at my network, and then I have ad blockers on all my machines.
Look, okay, let's just talk about the Nissan Z and forget about the fact that I don't want to like record me installing ad blocker again and then going through Jalopnik's. I see you're using ad blocker. Look, hey, it's really important.
You can
No.
whitelist it per site.
Yeah, I know. Let's steal Jalopnik's news. Oh, I wanted to talk about Nikola. Let's talk about the Z real quick. Look, I'm in the market, and by in the market, I mean in 2 years, I probably am going to want to buy a sports car, right? Um, I have never found a sports car that I like to drive new better than the GT86. I don't think that you will be able to spec, excuse me, a Nissan Z for less for what you really want for less than $50,000. I think new a Nissan Z is going to be marked up out the ass because it's going to be the Ford Bronco of sports cars.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be
What was that
something.
Type R story? Go back.
I'm trading my Type R for something more relaxing. What car should I buy? I
Fuck
don't know.
them.
Why don't you
Fuck
just
them.
cut your
No,
balls
no,
off? Cut your balls off.
no, 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 no,
What
no, no,
car
no,
should
no,
I buy? I love
no,
these on Jalopnik. I love
no,
Jalopnik
no, no,
just being
no,
like,
no.
we don't really care about you, but your problem is going to make our readers laugh. So I'm going to say, fucking, who even knows what this is? A Honda Tucson? Or just try to keep it fun.
A
A
GTI.
GTI. That's actually a really good headline for any GTI. Just try to keep it fun. I have a lot of heat towards the GTI. Oh yeah, that's a great car actually. I take back everything bad I said. They just pumped Lexus. I would get Lexus tattooed on my like belly button.
No,
All right, we gotta get out of here.
no,
Hit the back button. Hit the back button.
no, no.
Nissan Z. Are
Nissan
you
Z.
even are you even remotely interested in the Nissan Z or not?
I would love a new 300ZX.
Uh, maybe that's what this is. The first images here started off steel frame Nissan's latest Z, blah blah. Blah.
They should
by
call it 300Z.
by playing around with the images color curves, you didn't do any of that. This is the brush tool. You took a pen. I have a graphics tablet right here. They went in Photoshop. They talked to anybody who knows. Like this is the brush tool. They didn't enhance anything. Oh, these people are fucking. Well, that's what I expect from Car Buzz.
Arbas.
Garbus.
The only source of the internet that's less relied upon than we are.
I don't know, man. I think we're going to be the greatest. I think we're going to be the most listened to automotive podcast in the world. When we're done. I mean, this is episode
Yeah,
1.
right. When we're done, when we retire, we will be the most listened to podcast.
We're a modern day click and clack without the Alzheimer's. Oh, shit.
Fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
We have to fucking. Can't believe you've done this. That's a vine.
We're the we're the dirt we're the dirtbag car podcast.
We're the dirtbag car podcast. We're car guys, but we're real pieces of shit. We have jobs. Well, one of us has a job. The other one lives with his parents. Oh shit,
Fuck.
we can't do that.
Fuck.
We're gonna have like a fucking one podcast where we just like shit on auto executives and like fucking like auto podcast royalty like Matt Farah and regular cars. Just like shit on them because we're dirtbags.
I don't know. They're cool. Well, there's plenty of people who deserve it.
If anybody deserves it, it's Matt Farah because he's put in the work. That guy's been making videos since like 2008.
Yeah, and like
for so long.
And he is not shy about saying, "Yeah, mommy and daddy gave me a bunch of money, and yeah, I spent all their money."
Yes, he's still spending their money. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, whatever. He's not shy about it. Good for him.
Yeah,
I respect
he really
that.
shouldn't be.
I respect it. Like, there's definitely a lot of people in cars who, it's like, how are you affording these?
Well, I mean, like, it's not really a dirty little secret about cars, but it's like, you know, there is no cheat for having nice things like cars.
Yeah.
You can either afford nice cars or you can't. It's like that guy, we can't name him, but it's like that guy that's in our car club that recently bought that Porsche 911, who is a pretty young guy who sells BMWs for a living.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. He's a very nice guy. I don't want to shit on him at all because he may be a little bit of a basic bro, but he's not like a dick. He recently purchased a Porsche 911 and he's in his what, like early mid 20s?
I don't know, dude. Like he's also got a Land Rover, and
He doesn't have a Land Rover. He has
yes,
an
he
M3.
does.
He had an M3.
Yeah, he had an M3, and he
He had
has.
a Jeep. He had a lifted Jeep with like
Is this the guy who lives in Oregon?
no.
Oh, there's also a guy who lives in Oregon who fits the description of what you're talking about, and he
Not
has.
the importer, not the importer guy.
Oh,
Talking
okay.
about the
Then I have no idea who you're talking about.
we're talking about this guy.
Fucking text me.
All right. He's on Instagram. I
I
don't
don't
even know.
pay
I
attention.
don't fucking know his last name. I'm gonna send you his profile on
Okay.
Instagram, and you're gonna be like,
Okay.
oh,
I sincerely doubt that.
you've met this guy. He went to your house.
I've met lots of people. Oh, is it that guy?
Yeah, we talked
Okay.
about this guy on a
Yes.
house party talk we had. But anyway, he's like a
Yes.
nice guy, right? But he has a job where he makes pretty good money, but he also has very wealthy parents. So he recently, went from having a lifted Jeep Wrangler and a BMW M3 to having a 911 with a manual that was used. And there was a post he put on Instagram today that was like the road to 100,000 miles starts now, daily driven with my Porsche 911. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Um, I respect anybody who wants to buy like a fucking car like a 911 and say I'm gonna try to get to 100,000 miles and just like drive it everywhere I go. Like I don't like people who just like buy cars, keep them in their garage, and take them out on weekends. Boomer their cars.
Oh fuck.
If you're a
Fuck.
boomer and you're like
Oh fuck.
65 years, what?
Oof. Oof.
You take your car to the track, you're exempt. He's never taking that Porsche to the track. He's never going to the track, dude. I guarantee it. I guarantee you he's never going to the track. Not because of who he is, but just because he's not interested. He's not he just wants a Porsche. Um and he's a nice guy. I can't iterate that. I cannot fucking press that enough
Did
because
he
everything
say?
he does, his lifestyle would make an outsider think this guy's a fucking cock. But
Did
he's
he
not.
say? Did he really post F80 is still for me, and then sell it 2 months later?
Yeah. But that's the worst thing he did. Most people who live his lifestyle, like pay for secret abortions
Sure.
for like coworkers. This guy, though, he's nice enough, but he got where he is because he has parents like handing him money,
Right.
and that's okay. Like he doesn't really own up to it, which I kind of wish he would, but he's not really like he doesn't host a podcast. He's not in the public. He wants to be an influencer on Instagram, but something tells me he just doesn't have the height for it. He's like fucking 5'8". um,
It's fucked up.
it's fucked up. It's fucked up to make fun of people's height. But I mean, like he's debt free. He went to a good school. He has rich parents. You make like a lot of money selling out BMWs every year. Why not buy a used Porsche 911? I mean, like I don't think I would commit to the whole Instagram thing of like I want to fucking have 100,000 miles on the clock of this motherfucker by the time I'm done. I would probably do something along the lines of I keep it for 2 years and then fucking sell it for a Prius and like pay no insurance for 4 years and then get like a Ferrari when I'm 40.
And the last thing I posted was that Game Boy pic. I was drunk and naked.
That's funny. I love Instagram. Um,
What other car news happened this week?
Z. Oh, the Nikola thing.
Oh yeah,
Two big mergers. Nikola and GM are going to be working together, and GM's going to be working with Honda, which is meaningless. I don't really have anything to say about the GM thing with Honda. We're
I
not going to
cannot
see
wait.
any. We're not going to see any of these fucking things like everybody's like photoshopping fucking like Accord front ends on Camaros. You're going to see.
I cannot wait for another Saturn view.
We're not. Oh God, I wish. I would love a Saturn SC coupe. One of my favorite old regular car reviews is on a Saturn wagon. It's like season one before the Roman was in it.
Yeah.
And he does that wagon and he's just like, this wagon has center buttons. It's buttons in the center console for rolling down the windows. You never see that in American cars. It's such a European thing. And then like I miss those shots that regular cars would do where it would like zoom in. It would be like a photograph, right? But he would like sort of pan
Hmm.
the photograph. He wouldn't clean up the car at all. It would just be covered in dust and fingerprints. I love that shit. I loved our early regular car reviews. Now it's like I listen to his podcast. His last podcast, he like told off this boomer at a gas station by like screaming about how he was gay to a boomer who like came up to him and saw the Falcon and was just like, um, "Oh, they don't make them like they used to. Nothing's like it used to be. Everything used to be so simple back in the day. Everything was just like easy to understand and you could make sense of everything back when this car was on the road." And like regular apparently was just like, "I'm gay." I was like, man, I don't know how much more of this shit I can fucking listen to. I just want to know about cars.
I mean, that's always what he's advertised his podcast as, though, as like him talking to Roman and being himself and being supremely weird.
Yeah, it used to be like really appealing. Okay, so it's hard to. This sounds like really shitty, but it's hard to relate to anybody with a cause. It's just like, just, I'm not going to tell you what to do, especially on your podcast. I will tell you what to do on your fucking YouTube videos. Like, if that started like translating into your YouTube videos, which you promised would just be this thing, then I'm like, fuck you. I came here for the thing you said it was about. Not
I
like, but if you make a podcast like, hey, it's just me talking about the things I care about, and you talk about something you legitimately care about, I have no room to criticize you. But because you said it was just going to be you and your friend talking about what just like this. We're still supposed to be doing the car news. There is no car news. I mean, like there was the Z. Who gives great? I like the Z. The Bronco is getting more and more boring by the minute.
I don't know.
There, I said it.
I would still love a Bronco if
You had a lobotomy.
no, just if I had everything, if I had everything else first, like if I had a house, if I had a paid off Civic, and somebody was like, here's half payment, here I'm gonna make every other payment on your AMG wagon. I'm like, well, I guess
You
it's time to get a Bronco.
you 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 buy the Bronco when you have nothing else to live for.
Right. It's like, well, I'm basically dead. I guess I need to get a Bronco.
So to me, I think like tell me if I'm wrong, but like to us, like a car like the Bronco just isn't fun. It's cool and it's fun every once in a while, but like when I think about like driving enjoyment, I don't think
Yeah.
that's not my. It's somebody's idea of driving enjoyment. Like the same guy that buys the Wrangler and like takes it on roads Wranglers are
Right.
supposed to go to. They love the
Right.
Bronco.
It's a different
Me,
thing.
it's like I'm not into it.
Yeah,
I think it looks cool, but I'm just not into it.
the Wrangler was definitely one of the worst cars I've ever driven. Um, but I also totally got it because it was also supremely confident and it felt good on that miserable, awful fucking road.
Because he
But
can do that off-roading shit.
yeah, but when we got back into civilization, uh, it was a motherfucker to drive, and like steering input was a suggestion, and the throttle was meaningless. Brakes were it is so weird when it decides the bottle isn't there. The brakes were asking very quietly and mousily, "Can you please stop? I'd really appreciate if we could
Oh
stop it.
God.
It's so nice." It's just a miserable fucking vehicle. It's awful. It's a horrible car, but it does the off-road thing, so I get it. But yeah, I would never ever have one as even like a second vehicle. It'd have to be like a third vehicle. They're just
Can
so bad. They're just
can you
so bad.
imagine people fucking daily those cars?
They're insane. They're insane. They're insane. They're insane.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember being when I was in college, and
The
there's
only
this.
people who do that, I'm sorry, I know I just interrupted. The
No,
only
no,
people
no.
who do that are people like your brother who have, I mean that with love, people who have no idea what a car is supposed to be like and would put up with that bullshit because they don't know any better.
Well, he said that for years that he was like, I'm gonna fucking buy a fucking Wrangler, and then he finally drove one, and he ended up driving one a couple of times, and he's like, this is just awful. He was like, it just doesn't respond, and that's why he likes the Grand Cherokee is because he wants like a car. He's like most Americans in 2020. He wants a car, but he wants to be high off the ground, and he wants to have all the room in the world, and he does take it on road trips, and he really really likes it, and that makes sense to me because he's not really into like, he's been in the car when we go on our cruises, and it's like nail that apex and like hit that, and then like on that straightaway accelerate, and he's just like, man, I hate this. He's not that kind of person. He's like, this sucks. It's like being on a roller coaster. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's like being on a roller coaster, but I'm in control. He's not that kind of he's not an automotive enthusiast at all. He is a level of consumer that I'm jealous of. I wish I could think of a car as a thing that I
You know what you
had to
should get?
own, and
You know what
that's
you
it.
should buy?
What?
The Odyssey. You should get an Odyssey. You should
We
get a
talked
Honda
we
Odyssey.
talked about it, and he was like, "No minivan until I have children." And he was
Odyssey.
like, "Then maybe." He said, "What was the fucking thing he said he was gonna get when he gets children? The Highlander." He said he was gonna get a Highlander. I'm like, "That's not really far off from like fucking minivan."
That's worse than a minivan.
He's like, "I want to get the truck right now. I want to get the Tacoma, and I
I will
want to."
never understand people like your brother.
Sure, but he'll never understand people like us. He likes us, I think.
I I no, I understand people like us. We min max our shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like either you get a
Minimize
one
the
point,
cock and ball torture,
yeah,
maximize the like money.
now you get it. You
Yeah,
either get a 1.4 liter Golf that gets amazing fuel economy, or you get a dumb sports car that does none of those things.
I've had both. I kind of like the Golf. I mean, like
It's a great car.
if I had the opportunity to get rid of it, I would take it in a heartbeat. But I would get a GT86 or a Z or a Vet or I wouldn't get another Mustang. I think I'm done. I wouldn't get a Camaro or a I'd maybe get a Challenger just to like feel like a trash person. But I wouldn't
So
like go to
bad.
I wouldn't go to a Volkswagen dealership and be like, I'm ready to trade my Golf in for a GTI. I would, you
I
know,
brought my snorkel.
I brought my snorkel. Um,
You're
yeah,
gonna say something and then I interrupted you.
I can't remember what it was. I think I already said it.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of car news to talk about. But like, I'm glad we talked about this.
Oh, Nicola.
Oh, Nikola. I love Nikola for the reason that their name is such a spit in the face to Elon Musk.
It's perfect. I have been successfully convinced by reading Reddit posts that um, that car company exists because some grifter was propped up a company long enough to get to exactly this point, and this was all the company was ever going to do. They had no real plans to actually make anything. They had no desire to invent or create. They just wanted to get hyped and then get bought. And they've gotten hyped and they've gotten bought, and he is now done forever.
Um, yeah, that's what startups used to do. in the Obama era, which was just like we exist to get bought by Google.
Yeah.
Um, so I could feel that. I like Nikola, and then my dad was hyping it. My dad will like frequently send me these articles. It's just like, look at Nikola, tell me what you think about this car, help me hook up my third monitor to my iMac. But like, I looked at it and I saw the car today for the first time, and I went to their website and I looked at the pricing structure, which is it's very identical to Tesla. Back in when did the P85 launch? 2009,
No, like 2000.
10, 2011,
I
something
think the
like.
first, yeah, the first one's like 2011, 2012, something like that.
I remember living in a neighborhood that had a lot of early adopters, and I remember like
It is 2012. I remember that because I the Roadster came out
I
in
remember the
20.
Roadster because I remember Top Gear.
Yeah, the Roadster came out in 2010. I remember because I booked an appointment to test drive one when like when the Roadster first came out, like nobody knew what a fucking Tesla was, and they wouldn't let me test drive it because I wasn't 25. But the guy was like, I remember being you. I will let you. I will drive the car and I will beat the hell out of it, and you can ride along. And they did that, but they ended up being 3 hours late, and I had to get to work, so I couldn't ride along.
I did the same thing with a Segway. Remember when I was in high school, there was a Segway store. Segways are really popular, and like,
Segway was a single person, for all of our listeners out there. Segway was a single person scooter that existed when we were children, when the dinosaurs still roamed the earth.
yes, it was the future of transportation, according to Tech TV, which was a television channel that eventually became G4,
Oh my
which eventually
god!
became canceled. I
Just
went
like
to
us.
the Highland Park, Texas Segway on Mockingbird across from SMU, which is now demolished. It's literally not there. They have physically removed the building.
Yeah,
I went to the Segway showroom, and they would let you ride around in Segways. And me and my friend William went to the Segway store and talked about how our parents were wealthy billionaires who had empty lake houses, and we needed something to get from the west wing to the east wing. And these people just didn't. They like let us ride them around, and like God, we were just like shitty teenagers. We were like waiting for someone's like crackhead mom to get off work so she'd buy us cigarettes or something. It was like fucking stupid. It was some trash shit, but we got to drive Segways. I remember the Tesla Roadster because of Top Gear. And when Tesla launched, I had my friend Robert's dad bought one. He was an early adopter. He traded his Lexus LS for one, and it took us for riding it. And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." And then Tesla was just all of a sudden everywhere as soon as I went to college. It was just like all I heard about in the automotive world was like Tesla this, Tesla this. The one thing I know about Tesla is like they've always been talking about how Tesla is going to fail any minute now, and it's been like 10 years and they haven't failed. And they just put a guy in space. It's it's so fucking weird. I thought for sure Fisker would be where Tesla is now, like 10 years ago, because Fisker had the better looking car. The Karma looked better. The Karma looked great. I loved the Karma. It looked so cool. It was like a sleek fish. It was
it
so
looks
cool.
like ass. It looks
I,
like it has a big stupid mustache.
I love it. It has a silhouette that's nice. The front end does
No,
need some work.
it looks like a fake car.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about the fucking whatever the fuck they're calling the first fucking Nikola. Or no, not the Nikola. The Nikola is just gonna be trucks. What's the other fucking company that just came out with another car?
Who cares? EVs are the new .com.
What is the new EV that just came out
Who
yesterday?
gives a shit?
I
That
need to know because I want to say what it is because it looks like a car that a character from this movie, Stephanie Meyer, the person that wrote Twilight, she wrote a book called The Host. Have you ever heard of The
Why do
Host?
you know this? No.
Because it was a movie. The Host is a film about this alien race that's like it's just a hive mind, right? That comes to Earth and infects every single hive mind. and then like the world becomes like an Apple store because of the hosts. And they like turn Earth. There's like the resistance and blah blah. But the important thing is like the design schematic is like the Apple Store. Everything's like smooth and white and like looks like sleek and new. And this fucking EV I saw that just went public, it wasn't Nikola, it was the other company. I was like, this looks like what the villain would drive in Stephanie Meyer's The Host. It looks so bland and uninteresting.
No one has ever said that sentence except for James.
Let's fucking
James
look it up.
Ross.
I'm gonna fucking look it up right now.
James H. Ross.
James H. Ross Jr. I'm sure it's on Jalopnik. It's not Nikola. It's Aston Martin. Look at these fucking trash. This trash everywhere. What happened to Jalopnik? Is this what Jalopnik looks like now? It just ugh, I don't know what's ads and what's not ads. This is an ad, right? Let's look it up. EV news. There it is. Lucid. That's what I'm talking about. That looks like a fucking made up car from a bad guy in a Stephanie Meyer book. Like, look at the fake Bronham top kind of thing going on here. You see it? It's like that's just not good design here. As an ad. That looks like a Kia. That looks like a Kia K5, which is the replacement to the Optima. That looks like shit. And this is this is launched. This is the production model. They are going to release this to stores. You can buy this car. It starts at 1,000 horsepower. It starts at I think 86,000 and it goes up to 150 grand. Let's look. Lucid. Lucid Motors home.
I
Look at
hate
this
this.
fucking shit. I hate this shit too. This is the biggest discover. I want to discover Lucid. Dream ahead because the car trim, the one of the trims is called Dream. I do know that. And it looks like just enough of a Tesla to make Chinese people happy. This looks like please Chinese people buy me
I don't understand why all the stupid bullshit about Teslas everyone has to copy.
because it's so successful.
Like the
It
stupid fucking
makes
door
Elon
handles.
Musk has so much money. You know who also fucking copied that door handle shit? Mercedes Benz. They put retractable door handles on the next generation S Class.
I hate those door handles so much.
They're dangerous. What if a firefighter has to pull you out of your wrecked Lucid? Design yours. Tell me how much it costs, you fucking pigs. There, this is what I saw. Okay. The Lucid 169, that's the top brand. I love this. It starts at the top, and then you have to whittle your way down to
The
poor
poor.
people land. You don't just start at the base model and slowly build your way up, which is how human brains are built to like think of products. Like I start at the base and then I add on. And by adding features on, I build value. I perceive a built level of value. No, it's a millionaire's car, and the more I have to swipe right, the more I have to admit to the world that I am poor and
Oh
jobless.
look, you have a full roof like a poor.
Yes, I have no sunroof. Therefore, I have a status symbol on my car. The only fucking roof, the only car that has no sunroof is the one for poors. And by poors, I mean anybody that can afford an $80,000 car, the price of a well-spec'd Corvette. This
Well,
shit just makes me sick because like you can go to Tesla's website and you can get like a
let's
Model
do that.
3. Let's
Go
go
to
to
Tesla's
Tesla's
website.
website. Yeah. You go to Tesla, you get a Model 3 or a Model Y for like I don't know, how much is a Model 3? Model 3s are
I
shit
think
for
I
sure.
know they have one for 32 grand, but it doesn't exist on the website. You have to call and ask for it.
Yeah, but like still, if it was 40 grand, it would be half the price of the cheapest Lucid. And yeah, it's a lot smaller, and yeah, it doesn't compete in the same class, but it's still an EV.
I think
I
Model S is apple to apples, but
Yeah, if we're doing this is oranges to apples. I hated that line when I was a car salesman. Let's order now. All right, blah blah blah. Long range, 40 grand. Performance, 48. So if you buy a smaller EV from Tesla, a more reputable, I want to say more reputable, I want to say more well established
did you see
company.
that? Did you see this shit that came out about the wood trim in the Model 3?
No.
Oh my God, dude, Google that. Model 3 wood trim. No. Um, no. Scroll back. Search Model 3 Home Depot wood. What the fuck?
Elon Musk has
Let me
censored the
let me
internet.
find it. Let me find it.
What happened?
Uh, this guy took his Model 3 apart to try and fix panel gaps, and he found out that his coolant reservoir is held in with a ratchet strap and some scrap wood.
Oh, this?
Hold on, I'm not looking at the screen.
Yeah, this looks like.
Yes, yes, this bullshit.
Oh my god. That can't be from the factory.
That is absolutely from the factory.
God, that is some fucking Russian level fucking shit. Someone made a run to Home Depot to make Q2 numbers. Okay, that's hilarious. I mean, people always ask me why I won't buy a Tesla, and I always tell them it's because I live with my parents and I have no job. But the other reason is this shit. If I had a lot of money right now to blow on a daily driver, it wouldn't be a Tesla, man. Let me tell you. I mean, like it's an okay car, but like there's much better EVs out there on the market. They're not as popular and they don't sell as well, but I think they're much better. I mean, when I worked for Audi and we sold the e-tron is a better car. Nobody wants to buy it because it doesn't have that Tesla name or brand, but and it's an SUV, not a sexy sports car like the Tesla, but it's a better car. I don't know. I mean, like Tesla is like the evil version of Apple. Like Apple makes a decent product, but they have excellent marketing. Apple promises that if you buy one of their products, you will be seen as like an elitist, right? Tesla makes the same promise, but then they do shit like get a ratchet thing, like it's like a techwear belt holding teak wood together to fasten your cooling unit in. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. You know, if Bernie Sanders got elected, we wouldn't have any more Teslas.
God, don't remind me.
He would destroy capitalism. Speaking of boomers, my dad was like talking to me the other day. We got real drunk together. It was really funny. And he was like, I don't understand what Bernie Sanders' plan is. I'm like, Bernie Sanders just wants to tax the living shit out of rich people and like fucking give all the money back to fucking poor people. And he was like, but how are you going to do it? What's your plan? He's like, I watch the news all the time. They won't tell me his plan. I'm like, the news doesn't want you to know his plan. News wants you to keep watching the news so they'll make money. He wants to fucking tax the living shit out of anybody that makes over $1 billion a year and take all that money and redistribute it. And he's like, that's just going to make like every single business person in the United States go overseas. They're going to hide their bank accounts in money. He's like, yeah, he's going to make that illegal. And he's like, well, yeah, but I don't see how he could get away with that. And I'm like, he's the president of the United States. You see all the shit that Trump gets away with? I'm like, I don't understand it either. I mean, like, I'm an art major who sold cars for 5 years. I don't know how he's gonna fucking do it, but I know I'd vote for him. Fuck.
Warms my dark, cold heart to hear you say all these things.
I mean, it's like the sad reality of like boomers is that they don't know how to be. Their brains don't let them be creative enough to find answers anymore. They're just like, what else is there than like I'm watching MSNBC right now, like, and they're
Yeah,
not telling me anything. Where could the other answers be? Just like, yeah, we gotta show you YouTube, and he's like, well, I've heard of Twitter, and I'm like, Twitter's a toilet. You can't get on Twitter for answers. You get on
I
Twitter to make fun of other people.
I have genuinely felt my mood and like quality of life improve since I quit Twitter.
You quit Twitter?
Well, I mean, I didn't delete my account, but I made it private, changed my username, and deleted all of my tweets.
I have a fluff Twitter to help me get a job, and I just retweet like design articles from like UX designers for famous companies, and I won't read them at all. I'll just be like so insightful. It's writings like this that really make me feel like my job can make a difference when I work for the right company, and then just retweet it. And then like I'll retweet a joke every day. Like I'll hear a UX design joke, and I'll just like tweet it and be like, I heard that like there's a difference between a visual designer and a product manager. Somebody should tell Indeed.com, haha, JK, hashtag jokes, hashtag humor, hashtag UX. Then I have a private Twitter that's just like me. Every time I think of something funny, I tweet it. I was just like, um,
What's that Twitter handle?
that's I think it's the Jampers. There's James Ross Design, and there's just the Jampers.
This is not private.
Oh, nuts. Is it Homer Simpson putting his pants on? Is that the
Yeah,
icon? That's my
yeah, this is absolutely not private.
cool. I can't remember the last thing I tweeted.
Is bliss achievable for humanity? Probably not. It's a picture of Daisy.
I miss Daisy.
I can't wait to get a job so I can spend $1,000 on a car people who don't have jobs drive.
Yes. Okay, you found me. Yes. I was actually seriously looking for True Nose. I was like, what if I buy the meme car? And then I watched. I've never seen. I don't know anything about that car,
What?
the Truino.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I watched some reviews that weren't regular cars, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, no, like the whole point of Initial D is that it sucks.
Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you that I have a Funimation account that I'd been using for a really long time, and I finished the last anime I was watching, and I was kind of like, eh. And then I kind of forgot about it, and I went back on Funimation, and I was like, what else is on here? Fucking sure enough, Initial D, the whole thing, Initial D is on there. So I'm gonna watch that next. I've been watching a lot of trash anime. It's we might as well get this out of the way in episode one. This is a podcast hosted by two people that watch anime. I watch significantly more anime than Brandon because
That's
I'm not
true.
in a committed relationship with a human woman. Um, but I've watched a lot of good anime this season. It's been the best season since 2018. Um, our friend, who shall not be named, Mr. Eurobeat, Life's the Pits, uh, and I have been watching similar animes and like not really talking about it because his girlfriend's more into the animes that I'm into because I like girly anime than and I've been having a blast watching like romantic animes this season. I know that I've like reached a certain level of like I guess maturity, you know, where like a romantic anime doesn't like affect me and make me lonely anymore. Win! Wonder Years. But anyway, Well, that wraps up car news. Today is going to be our last segment of the cast. Right as we wrap up, we've had a pretty good session. Um, Brand, is there anything you want our listeners to know about you and your car history?
They're all Hondas. You can find
That's
a
not
link.
true.
You can find a link to my cars and
It's
their
not
VIN
true. You're a
numbers,
liar.
their vehicle identification numbers in the podcast description.
It's not true. You got a Mustang. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to these boys. You own a Mustang.
I have owned three Ford products. I've owned three Fords and a bunch of Hondas.
You own a Mustang and the Fiesta. What other Ford did you own?
1996 Miata.
That's not a Ford product.
They might as well be.
Oh my god. You know, I wanted to go back to that thing we said earlier about like cars girls like. The Miata is the only fucking sports car.
Girls don't give a shit about the Miata.
They don't give a shit, but they also don't hate it.
No, they hate it. They hate it because it's not a good car. Like I remember thinking what a catch Adelaide was because when my car completely fucking drenched her because its roof didn't work, she laughed and thought it was hilarious. And I was like, this is the only girl who's going to pay attention to me. I cannot fuck this up.
Oh wow, you are so wrong. Yeah, if your ex girlfriend's your ex girlfriend, she was never a catch. Pro tip.
Listen, I mean, I don't need to get into all that now, but that was the thinking at the time of like this woman is not is not upset that I just completely drenched her on our first date because my car doesn't have a real roof.
I remember like I had this girlfriend who was like, you know, your car's a real piece of shit. So I left her at a gas station in a real rough neighborhood. And she called me
Nice.
the next day and was like, hey, I can't wait to see you again. I was like, yeah, you're a real catch. She was the catch. I caught her with a rope. I dragged her down the street, tied her to the towing jack on my pickup truck. This is Bam Margera. It's 3 a.m. We're
How have
gonna.
I driven the Civic more than I drove the Fiesta? That doesn't make any sense.
How long did you have that Fiesta? You had it when I met you.
I bought the Fiesta in July 2017 and I sold it in last June.
Yeah, for 2 years.
Yeah.
You've put more miles on the Civic.
Oh, that's why. Because this, for some reason, this thinks I had it. Oh, because I never updated the Fiesta's spreadsheet thing. It's still calculating from today.
Whoopsie.
That's
Whatever the fuck
why.
that means.
There's a formula that tells me how long I own the car, and um, when you still have it, you have to use today instead of a date. So I never changed the Fiesta from today to a date, which is so it said I had the Fiesta for 3 years.
I wonder if that guy that bought it still has it.
Probably. I mean, he took out a note for it, so I assume he does.
Wow. What an idiot. No offense.
Yeah, no, none taken. Um,
I
okay,
mean,
that
you sold it to him. So I mean, like, I love that Fiesta, but I would never finance it. What did he take a note out for? $11,000.
no, I sold to him for like 7,200, seven thousand
Wow,
five hundred, something like that. It wasn't very much. No, I'm looking at it right here. I sold it for 6,750.
Jesus Christ! He had to take a note out for that. That sucks.
I remember I took out a note when I bought the car,
It was
but
for like
I
$18,000, wasn't it?
no, I bought it used for 8,350, but I only had like 3 grand, so I took out like a 17% personal loan and then paid it off in like 6 months.
So that's what I should have fucking done. Instead, I own $35,862 on a Golf.
Well, you could have bought a Type R, but instead you have a Golf.
I could not have bought a Type R for $35,000. Used, maybe. I could not afford the insurance.
No, but yeah, I did that with the CRZ too. I did that with the Fiesta because I used the money that I got from selling the CRZ to pay off a credit card, and then I had no money left to actually buy a new car, so I got a personal loan to buy the Fiesta. It
It's
was
a pretty good deal.
Ponzi scheming.
Yeah, that is Ponzi scheming. Well, I mean, like now you have two dream cars. I mean, you have a Type R and an S2000.
And the
So I
Type
mean,
R and the S2000's paid for.
yeah, once I get a job, I'm just gonna fucking pay off that Golf.
It's the best thing to do.
I don't want our viewers to fucking think that like this is my job. So I'll have you people know that I'm unemployed. That's why I'm doing this. I can't wait to be employed and then have to do this on the weekends as a hobby. It'll be great. And Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is still a lot of fun. We're not gonna get to play for fucking 2 more weeks though.
Because of fucking me.
Well, I mean, it was my fault this week. I guess I didn't think we were gonna cancel. I honestly thought everybody would reschedule, but whatever.
How have I driven the Type R more than the Fiesta, the CRZ, the Miata, and the Civic?
You're in a committed relationship and you live in a major city
Oh
and you
no,
never drive the S2000.
no, I'm not talking about the S2000. You know why? It's because everything is fucking crazy far away in Texas. That's truly what it is.
Yeah,
Like
welcome to the South.
no,
Welcome to
like no,
Texas, really. I mean,
yeah,
just
welcome to
like,
Texas. Like we drive to College Station with some regularity. We were going to San Marcos all the time, and like I would never drive that far in Orlando. Like nothing is that far away.
yeah, Texas is just huge, man. Everything is like so spread out. I
Yeah,
mean, you just have they
that's
have the right to be spread out.
that's fucking what it is.
How
Like
many
I'm looking.
miles have you put on that car?
We're getting very close to 13,000.
It's not terrible. It's been a
No,
year.
yeah, that works out to about 10,000 miles a year.
It's good.
But if you look at the spreadsheet I posted in the Zoom chat, my average is around 9,500 when I lived in Florida. The Civic sticks out because me and my ex-girlfriend drove that car around a lot, and these dates are really fuzzy because um, I officially sold it to her way after she was driving it full time. So the 95 Civic is kind of weird and doesn't really count.
Wait, you sold your 95 Civic to your ex girlfriend?
While we were dating, yeah.
Wow, that's risky. Did it have any problems?
No, it was in great shape when I sold it to her.
How close to the end of your relationship? I don't mean to get too personal, but how close to the end
Yeah.
of your relationship was it when you sold her that car?
Let's see, May 2016. That was we would break up in September of 2017. So about a year and a half out from
Wow,
breaking up.
that's
I
not bad. That's really wholesome. Yeah.
like when she was driving the Civic was probably when we were happiest. And those two things cannot be a coincidence because everyone knows that Hondas improve your life. Except for the CRZ. The CRZ is a miserable piece of shit. No one should ever have one.
Well, they don't sell those anymore. Maybe I should buy a Honda. My life's terrible. Maybe
You
I should
should
buy a
buy a
Honda.
Honda. You should buy a
I'll
Honda.
get a Honda next. I'll get a Honda Civic Coupe base model used. There's never been a Honda Civic Coupe that I liked looking at.
Well, uh, have you considered the best Honda? I can't show my screen. The fucking 1999 Honda Civic Coupe in green.
Oh, that was the one I did like. I liked that, and the Prelude counts because it's not a Civic, but The Prelude is the car you get before the Civic. That's why it's called the Prelude. I do like that car. I would never buy one now.
I want one of these. I want one of these so bad. I want to relive being 18.
You can't.
If I
It
just try, if I just try hard enough, Skinny Love will be brand new.
it won't. It never will. Skinny Love will. Well, I'm not gonna talk about Skinny Love on this podcast. Um, when you go back and you sit in the car you had when you were a fucking teenager, it is literally like putting on the jeans you wore to high school every day. It's like great for a second, and then
I
somebody
have,
sees you and you're just like,
I have never. So you know Will, right? The guy with the green Civic hatchback.
yeah.
I have never sat in his car on purpose.
Does that mean you slipped in accidentally?
No, I just means like I have very purposefully uh, looked in his car and never gotten into it because getting into it would be way too close to my first car.
I've never gotten in another CT30 Sports Coupe compressor because I've never found one. I've never seen a single person with one in 2020. And I don't think there's many of them left out there. I mean, I've never looked for one. Um, I did get in a W204C class, the second car I ever owned, and I remember it was a doctor sold it to Audi, and they had bought it new, and they had kept it for fucking like 10 years. They bought it in 2009 because in 2008, you can tell a 2008 C class from all the other ones because they're the only year that had that mirror design because it was released, it was rushed to market, and the mirror design had a wind buffeting noise problem. And the mirror was redesigned for 2009 for the rest of the car's lifespan. So if you have a 2008, you have this very specific mirror with this big blocky turn signal on it. And if you have a 2009 and up, you have this thinner one with this like V. It looks like a V-shaped turn signal on there. And I remember it was a 2009. I remember sitting in there, and it was exactly like my second car. And all I got to do with it was drive it to the back. And it had that like it had a navigation screen that when you turned on the car, it would like retract into the dashboard. So you would press a button, and then this case would open up, and then the screen would like emerge from the dashboard. And to this day, that shit is fucking cool as hell. I'm gonna see if I can fucking find it. Let's look. This will be the last thing I do. Let's fucking look for this shit. See if it's on YouTube. That's not
It's
it.
so great the S2000 has survived the CRZ and the Fiesta.
The S2000.
Yeah. The S2000 shared the garage with my CRZ.
There it is. So watch this guy turn it on. This is fucking horrible. I remember that interior. I fucking love that interior. It had one of those like the Mazda ripped that thing off. This guy has no idea what he's doing. Cannot make a video to save his life. There it is. Boom. See that shit? Awful video, but you get the gist.
That's pretty cool.
That was how it fucking worked. It was the coolest shit in the world. I love that car. If
That
you,
looks like the same interface that Nicole's mom's ML has.
it is the same interface. That was on Mercedes for 9 years before they updated the OS.
That's a long time.
Yeah, Mercedes doesn't care. They just don't fucking care about that. I had Nav, but I never used it because it was so ridiculously unreliable. It would always take me there. Look at this fucking glove compartment. What the fuck? This guy can't make videos. It is fucking ridiculous. And yeah, that is how fucking the W204 C class was just the fucking best. I cannot say good enough things about that fucking thing. This guy, God, this dude has parts for it. Holy shit.
I texted you when my garage was at its peak.
I wouldn't say that's peak, but okay. You have a Type R now.
Yeah,
The Type R is so much better than like half the cars in that garage. Oh my
I
god.
miss that CX. I wouldn't want. I don't. I wouldn't want another one, but I miss it.
Well, I mean, you could get one anytime you wanted. This is it. This is the W204. Oh my god. This is the best C class. So that was the post 2008. It was the V-shaped signal on the mirrors. I love this car. I had those rims too. I foolishly took my grill off and replaced it with a like Chinese knockoff of a C63 because that was the car every Benz head wanted was a C63.
What does that look like?
Uh, it looks like a fucking muscly. This was a 6.3 liter V8 AMG Mercedes with defeatable traction control, rear wheel drive only. It was awesome. It was before AMG went to all wheel drive only. Because I remember, I think it was like 2011 or 2012, where AMG was just like, if there's an AMG car on the market, it's all wheel drive. We don't do rear wheel drive only anymore. Because people were just like getting killed left and right. It was like, it was insane. It was just too ridiculous. They were like, we want to push 1,000 horsepower, and there's no way we can do that responsibly. They weren't going to do that in the C class. They were going to do that in like the SLR. SLR McLaren was about to run its course. It was getting replaced by the SLS AMG Gullwing, which would eventually be replaced by the SLS. Yeah, this was the fucking car when I was a kid. I went to the Mercedes Benz of Park Place Mercedes Benz Motor Cars of Dallas, and they had one of these with red interior. I got to sit in one.
That's pretty cool.
It was awesome. My dad sat in it, and he was like, "I can't believe we're actually seeing one of these." This is the first time I ever saw my dad like genuinely impressed by a car. Because like this thing was just like you don't see these.
Yeah,
Like this was like something extra. It was like something else. It's like you don't see an SLR McLaren. And it was like pre '08 crash excess. This was like lust in America before 2008. And it was just such a great car. I think. I have no
yeah.
fucking clue. I mean, just look at it. It looks like the goddamn Batmobile. And its replacement was pretty cool too. It was replaced by the SLS, which I got to sit in one of these and I wasn't as impressed, but I thought it was cool that it had gull wing doors.
Yeah.
It was kind of awkward, this thing. It had a really long hood and you couldn't really see out of it. But it looked cool. It was just really big. It was just like, it looked like a dick. This thing just looks like a cock. I mean, like, look how cock-like
I
it
have to.
looks.
I have to go to bed. I can't handle your cock talk.
All right. Well, that's enough cock talk. Episode 1 of room temperature cock talk won't get cock blocked. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed car news. We'll be back next week with a fresh episode of Room Temperature. Brandon, thank you so much. Good night, America, and all the ships at sea. So they said in the Brave Little Toaster. God, it's fucking 11 o'clock. 2.5 hour podcast. Not bad. See you next time. Bye bye.